guess what? It's another awesome day. You know how it works. We're going to smash things, except today we're not going to smash things. Hey, welcome to SmashweRx. We're going to be talking about the groin. So let's do this. Put this down. Make sure we don't get too much interference. We'll get right into it. So when you look at the groin, you have, there's an adductor complex. So the reason we're talking about this is because what happens with the groin is it's going to affect anyone that's had a pulled groin, groin injury, tight groin. All of this is for you. So basically, before we go any further, this is a pulled groin, tight groin, groin problems, SI joint hack. It's all that stuff. So anyone that's had issues with the muscles in the adductor compartment, the medial compartment of the leg. So there's 6 muscles. There's the magnus, the brevis, the minimus, and the longus. Those are the adductors, and then there's the pectineus, and then there's a gracilis. So all of this stuff, you can look at, there's obturator, externus too, but it's really, really small, so that might not come into play, but some people it does. So what I'm looking at is, this is how it winds up bringing the leg closer to the midline. So this is your midline, brings the leg closer to the midline, but when it's super tight, it doesn't allow your leg to travel away from the midline. And that's a problem because it starts to roll the pelvis. It basically pulls you anterior and in with the leg. So it takes the head of the femur and winds up bringing it slightly anterior and in. So it loads the inferior aspect of that acetabulum, that joint. So the hip joint, basically. It's trying not to use fancy terms of trying. So head of the femur, hip joint, sits in here, it winds up sliding forward and down. So you wind up having this catch in the hip joint. So what feels like a hip impingement, sometimes in a hip impingement, it's an adductor issue, basically a groin issue. So if you have a groin problem, it's going to do 2 things. It's going to limit how the hip works substantially. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to load up the SI joints in the back. So if you look at the SI joints, we have this triangle in the back, the sacrum. And then on either side are the innominate bones. I gotta get a skeleton in here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring a skeleton in here. We'll start looking at that instead. So the triangle in the center is the sacrum, the innominate bones on either side, and they sit like this. And what happens is when you load up the adductors on one side, because it's invariably one side is tighter than the other, it's going to wind up loading some shear on that joint, that SI joint, which is already under a tremendous amount of load. So we're going to unload that because otherwise you wind up with insane SI joint problems. You don't need surgery. You don't need to go to any kind of process for months and months and months on end. Generally, this isn't a quick fix. This is just something that you have to do daily. But what I've learned is that muscles respond better. Tissue responds a lot better under use versus just a static stretch. So this is basically a lot of movement-based stretching that's going to help a ton and free up that groin a lot more than you think. And you know what? This is like step-by-step over time, right? Inch by inch, life's a cinch. So we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of this stuff. So all you need for this is a kettlebell. That's it. Even a dumbbell will work. Anything that it's small baby, like you can hold anything. So what you do is, I'm going to show you, we're going to take off the shoes for this one because we're going to be sliding around a little bit. So we'll take off the shoes. I got my Gaines box socks on. They hook me up with boxes of goodies all the time. So I like that stuff. Thank you. Big shout out to those guys. So we're going to do, first thing we're going to do is what's going to be called just a slide. So we're just going to open up the groin. So get in a position like this. You're basically in quadruped, hands in front of you, braced out. So you're just going to hold your spine. Remember, you don't want to have your spine all rounded out like this. You want to be in a nice neutral position, right? Midline tight. So hands like this. Leg all the way out to one side. So this is your position. I like to raise the heel a little bit, and then you're just going to bring the leg in and then out. You're basically seesawing away and getting this tissue to be active, but I'm pulling my leg actively up. So I'm using my adductor to bring my heel back towards me. So I'm just going to grind back and forth all the way out to the max and then back. How many sets? I would do 2 minutes of work each side. Yeah, not just sets. The next one is going to be a sweep. So I'm going to keep you in the same position. Still in that quadruped, still midline engaged. You're going to hold this like this. There's actually a fly on my friggin' phone. I went to the coolest part of this entire room, which is that crazy ass iPhone that I'm using right now. So you're going to get your foot this way. And all you're going to do is you're going to sweep it back and forth. So same thing, braced out. And then you're going to bring the foot there. And then you're bringing it back. So the knee is locked out. And I'm going to do this for 2 minutes of work. That's number 2. All right, number 3, we're going to get wide. So get your hands like this. I'm going to have my feet closer together. You can see back there, my feet are closer together. We're going to get in this position now, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze my legs together and then bring them back out. Squeeze them together to lift myself up and then back out. Show you from the side so you kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. So I'm going to be this neutral position. I'm going to squeeze my knees and then bring them back out. Squeeze my knees and then bring them back out. 2 minutes of work. You can do 3 sets of 10 if that's more comfortable for you. Next one is we're going to work on loosening up more of that tissue, except we're going to do it's a little more of an active movement, so it's called a Cossack squat. You guys have probably seen this a lot. So we're going to get wide. Let's go back here so you can actually see what I'm doing. Imagine there's a bar on my shoulders and I don't want the bar to break parallel to the floor. So we're just going to come down and then come back up. Same thing towards the other side and then back up. So we're going to load up the groin when we come down and then come all the way back up. So come down on the groin, really load this up and then use it to push yourself up. 3 sets of 10 each side is good. Last one. Ooh, this one's a doozy. Excuse me, you see that? I see the banana, it's awesome. You see that kettlebell? That kettlebell's a 70, it sucks. So we're gonna take the kettlebell, and we're gonna get into a bottom hold squat, push the knees forward, or push the knees out rather. So feet forward, toes forward. If you don't wanna do this in socks, don't. Pick the kettlebell up, goblet squat. Hang out in this position, really let it push the knees open. Let's go this way, you can see some friggin' weight in that thing, huh? Toes forward. Oh, that's awful. And then just hang out in this position for how long? You know the routine, 2 minutes. I'm not gonna make you sit here and watch me for 2 minutes. And that's it. You wanna clean up your groin and fix your SI joint, do all that stuff. Hey, listen, I'm Trev, SmashweRx, hanging out, you know what it is, it's always awesome. I check you guys out tomorrow, have an awesome day.